exciting episode of the $1 Million Peddlers. I'm Paper Guy.
And I'm Mr. Magazine.
And what is this station about, Mr. Magazine? It's about helping people.
I was going to say educating people.
There you go. And it's about helping people in their business make more money. And you know what one way to make more money is?
Sell.
That is one way. But what about the corollary of that? What ends up costing you money? Refunds.
I know that.
And we are going to talk today about refunds. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is you've got two different venues that we generally sell on. And we may sell on some other venues as well. But we sell on Amazon and eBay. And I'm going to venture a guess, and I want to hear your opinion on this, that there isn't much you can do about returns on Amazon in general.
You have no control. Very little control.
And the customers on Amazon are programmed, I guess would be how I would put it, to expect they can return anything for any reason whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that another problem with Amazon is that a lot of times they don't read the condition box.
True.
I think that's a big problem.
I would say 9 out of 10 times. Yeah.
So.
Well, and they don't know their stock photos.
That's a very good point.
Another issue.
Stock photos, they don't read the condition box. And how many times have you had an issue on Amazon where what you're selling is not what the person is buying?
Oh, multiple times, yeah. Is that when they merge the
ASINs? They merge the ASINs, or you sold, and I actually sold as well. I think it was, if I remember right, a Rocky Blyer Sports Illustrated, I believe, if I recall correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody had written up in the verbiage that it was a signed copy.
Yeah.
And so this person bought a Sports Illustrated from me for like $8 and one from you for like $12, and he thought they were all signed and probably bought from 4 other people.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously none of them were signed
because
we didn't know that it was supposedly signed.
Right.
And I remember you sold a Devil Dinosaur comic, if I remember right.
Oh, graded. It was supposed to be
graded. That was graded, like high grade.
And the picture didn't show a graded comic. Yep.
Right. So on Amazon, how do you keep your returns down on Amazon? Let me ask you that. I mean, you can do little bits to help it.
Yeah, you have to be smarter, I guess. Have your employees double check the listing, make sure it is as accurate as possible. It's, and the pictures is close, so there's no variations. There's no,
trade paperback.
Yeah. That's a good one too. Like a vinyl, make sure it's sometimes they have a red or blue vinyl variation, so make sure it's correct, the condition's correct, the grade's correct. And what I do sometimes too, if the stock photo is way off, so if I'm selling something that's new and the stock photo is poor condition, I won't list off that because 9 out of 10 people are going to think they're getting that crappy copy. So you're better off listing off the one that the picture matches as best possible.
Oh, I was okay, as best possible. Because I would go the other way as well. If you have an off-condition copy, you don't necessarily want to list off one with a good picture,
right?
Because people will think that as
well. Either way, yeah, correct.
Yeah, very good point on that over there. So I've kind of cut back on selling some things on Amazon in off condition only for that reason.
Yeah. Well, even there's new, and collectible like new, which are all controversial because you could have something new in the box, but then like a Hess truck, it's got a dinged corner or something, which you could get that off the shelf in the store. Someone can complain and say it's not new. And we have a lot of trouble with Hess trucks and Funko Pops. Those are things that if it says new, it's got to be 100% new, or you got to put it in like new.
Well, and one other little area has to do with the ISBNs. Sometimes they change the cover, but Amazon will not allow a second one to be listed because it's the same ISBN.
Mm-hmm.
So you have an older version of the book, or you have a version that came out in the 60s prior to ISBNs, and the only one listed is with an ISBN. I will say something like, same ISBN, different cover version, and I will put a picture of mine up, or I will put up no ISBN, however, same book.
Right. That
That kind of deal as well, as best as I can.
Sure.
Just because things change throughout the years, and Amazon appears not to notice that. So Amazon, you can only cut down on returns a little bit on the edges. What about eBay?
For as far as returns, as far as controlling them, keeping them to a minimum, just be as accurate as you can. I guess the picture, what you see is what you get. So everything should be good. Take good pictures. Clean your items. Make sure if they're dirty, clean them so they know, hey, it's not dusty. We're getting a mint item here, a new item, and yeah, just do your best with describing them.
Well, and I think the advantage you have on eBay is if you listed that hat for sale, you have a picture of that hat.
Yeah.
The way that you listed that hat is
Right.
what it is. Now, that doesn't mean that a lister couldn't make a mistake and when
Right.
they list it or whatever.
Sure.
But you have control because it's exactly your item and nobody else is going to be able to change it at all.
Well, if you describe it incorrectly or you don't grade it like someone else would grade it, maybe a little more stricter. Well, at least they know what they're getting then.
Yeah.
If you say it's mint and it's not mint, they see the picture, they know that's what they're getting.
Yeah, and another thing that I've done, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because historically my refunds have been between 1 to 1.5%. That's just historically what my refunds run. I've not added up my Amazon refunds, but my eBay refunds are, knock on wood, very, very low this year. And it got me thinking, why are they so low? And that's not a bad thing whatsoever. One of the big reasons why is because I'm doing better quality listings now. Now, you couldn't necessarily afford to do this because of the way that you run things. You don't want to pay somebody to go through every page of every magazine.
True, yeah.
But I find that a lot of times when I'm going through a magazine trying to find, oh, Marlene Dietrich is in this, I'm noticing that, oh, that page is cut or that page is missing, or so I'm checking a lot more for completeness than I used to do. I'm checking for clipped things, whereas I used to not do that at all.
Right.
And you know as well as I do, everybody always has the thing clipped that they wanted out of the magazine.
Yeah, right. Yeah. What are the odds?
Which, of course, is going to prompt a lot more returns. And the reason why I was going to say returns are so important is to keep them down is because you've gone and you've made a $20 sale. You've put the labor into listing it. You've put the labor into putting it away, labor into pulling it out, labor into packing it, labor into sending it out, spent the postage to send it out. Now, especially if you have free returns like I have, or if they put it in an INAD claim, you're ended up paying the return shipping to get it back on top of it all, and you're out the money. So not only you actually would have in that case been better off taking the magazine and throwing it away.
Yeah.
You actually would be in better shape than actually going through that. And that's leaving out the time involved in processing the return, the time involved in answering the emails, the fact that now you potentially have a ding on your account because of a return, leaving all of that stuff out, leaving out the upset customer who maybe decides not to return it but is upset and then ends up leaving you a negative.
Yeah.
There's a lot of reasons why you definitely want to avoid the returns, if at all possible. Amazon, as I said, is a different beast. You're going to have them on. There isn't much you can do about it beyond the very obvious things. Obviously, if you have a coverless comic, probably don't list it on Amazon, even if it's an old, valuable one, because people aren't going to look. They're just going to think, oh, I'm getting a mint condition 1945 Marvel Mystery Comics for $12. No, you're getting a coverless one. But they're not going to look and they're going to expect. But eBay is an area where you definitely can control your returns and go the extra mile on there, again, because not only are you losing the sale, you're losing money on it, along with all the bad repercussions. So take the time to look at your item before you list it. Make sure you list it accurately. Completeness, be honest about whether it works or not. And that's another area where you got to be a little bit leery about. Is I've heard lots of horror stories about people that will list electronics and list them for parts only, not working. And then somebody gets them, and guess what? It doesn't work.
Yeah, shocking.
And then guess what they want to do?
Refund.
Return it because it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, I know. Did you notice it was listed as parts only, not working? So realize that people don't always read. And I'll give you one other quick example. You know that I've listed a whole bunch of brochures from various stereo equipment. For whatever reason, because we use that web interpret, I think when it goes on the foreign sites, something's lost in translation, boom, where the people don't realize they're buying a brochure.
Oh, that happened with a lot of my pool table and arcade stuff, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they thought they were getting a real pool table for $10 and $8 shipping. Yep.
And those are things you definitely want to head off at the pass. I have learned throughout time that if somebody overseas is trying to buy brochures of something electronic, I contact them and say, you do realize this is just a brochure. It's not the actual item. And sometimes I've had people buy it and then say, now this works well, right? Well, it works well if you want to read it. Yes, it does exactly what it's supposed to do. It sold the brochure to you. It worked well, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But those are things you want to, especially in the overseas, because it'd be so expensive for a return postage on that. Those you definitely do want to head off at the pass. So if you do have, and I'll give you one other quick example. I know you've sold them in the past, and I had nothing but problems for years on them. Remember before, or I guess it was running the same time as some of the VHS, there was the CED, I believe they were called.
Yeah.
They're basically the size of a record album, and they're almost like a laser disc back then.
Yeah.
I forget what it was called, something or other disc.
Yeah, RCA CED.
CED, yep. You'd be amazed how many people bought those thinking that they were DVDs. Even though, and I even took the time to specifically list in my listing, you are buying a CED, it needs a special player. And anytime I sold one, I would email the people and say, you do realize, oh, I thought it was a DVD. But again, after one return, I quickly began to head that off at the pass by contacting people just to let you know. And I heard, some people said, yes, I know I want it for a collectible. Yes, I've got a player. Yeah, oh, great. But at least you know what you're getting, as opposed to me sending it out and then getting a return and an upset customer because he didn't bother reading.
Right, yeah.
So again, you can make money by having fewer returns. And that's really what it all comes down to. So take a look at your returns. If you see things that keep popping up that you continue to have returns because of, head that off at the pass, and you'll end up making more money at the end of the year. And we will see you next video.
Take care. Bye-bye.